Everybody's looking for the perfect blanket stitch, and on the Pfaff Expression 3.5 sewing machine, you actually have a lot of choices here. So all the stitches that have kind of that down and jumping out looking stitch, you're going to have to stitch them out to find out which one you truly like the best. My favorite one is stitch number 51. That's the one that looks the most traditional. Just one stitch forward, one stitch in, and one stitch back. Now if you want a heavier version, this is stitch number 50, so it goes back and forth multiple times. Now you can always make these wider or longer, so depending on what your setting is and how your applique is that you're going around, there's different settings that you can do, making them bigger or longer as you go. Now there's a few other things that are going to make life helpful. So you want to have the 1A foot on, your dual feed or IDT is engaged, and don't forget stabilizer. You got to have something for those stitches to stitch on. That way you really get a nice flat result. Most of the time the tension's going to be left the same. You don't have to do too much there, but if you're getting any bobbin thread coming up to the top, that would be something to adjust and make it a looser number or smaller number as you go. The other thing that I would recommend, and it doesn't come with this machine, is an open toe foot, so you can see where you're going. You can actually, the whole clear part here is cut out and away. But let me show you a couple things that are helpful. You will notice that on the clear feet that there are some red lines here. So you can actually get the stitch, the long part that's going to stitch forward, to be perfectly aligned with one of those red marks. Now at a default setting it is technically not. For me it's a little bit on one side. But you can touch the alternative button here and it will actually set so we can move the needle position a little bit to one side or to the other, kind of justifying that stitch. Right now I'm actually making it different widths. Let me try that one more time. Here we go. Now we can move it. You'll actually see the whole stitch itself traveling one side of the foot to the other. So if I set it so my needle is directly lined up with one of those lines, I'm going to go over a few more notches. Then I can use, oh yeah, now we're talking. Now I can use the line to line up with the raw edge of the shape I'm going around. See how I can follow that little red line and then just come exactly to where I want to go. If I want to stop with the needle in the down position, I can set that, or even tap my toe lightly so I can get it to actually just stop. And then sometimes I do finesse my project depending on how I'm getting around a corner here, and then just keep working until I find my next pivot point. A little tap of the toe and then pivot around to where I want to go. Variegated thread, kind of fun to do. Here, we'll stop there. We'll use our scissor button and see how nice it is to be able to follow that little red line, and it will keep my edge of my stitch perfectly lined up with the edge of the applique.